Okay, we can start there. How'd you get the name Bunga?
I had that from when I could walk. Mate of the old man's reckoned I was always bunging on a turn, and he called me Bunga Dooley, which shortly got cut back to Bunga. And it was only in the family and close friends called me that. And when I started boxing, I started when I was 12, but I didn't fight till I was 13. And when I was about 15, I fought a main event in the Ipswich Town Hall against the state featherweight champ, and I was the state bantamweight champ. And when I went into the hall, they had it written on the wall, Bunga Johnson fights, his name was Doberman, I think. And I beat him. But anyway, the next week they wrote it in the paper, Bunga Johnson beat the featherweight champ. And the next day the teacher called me Bunga at school, so it's stuck since then. And years ago, at that time I was a worm digger, and I had a lot of blokes working for me. By the time I was 20, I had 18 full-time blokes, and I served all of Brisbane and Sydney, and very well known Bunga Johnson worms caught the most fish, so it's sort of stuck, and it's all I've ever had. I fought under that name, I fought at Festival Hall under that name, and even when I went into training horses, it was Bunga Johnson all the time. So and I haven't had a glove off my hand since I've been 12-year-old, and I'm about to turn 69. So
why is that, Bunga? Do you think that you haven't been able to shake the boxing?
It's not that. There's always some kid crying out for help, and it's all been for nothing. There's been a lot of kids I've helped getting bullied at school, and it's just not teaching them how to fight. It's teaching them how to have confidence and have a few people skills and be able to speak their mind, and giving them a bit of confidence. And mate, it's happened over and over again, and I can thank my former fight trainer for that, Barry Parnell, and my old man. They were great influences on me, and so when Mark come along, I've passed it on to him, and hopefully it'll carry on, Dave. So and then I become a stand-up comic out of the blue. It just sort of happened one day. I thought I can do that, and I was a poet come comic, and then I started working with Mark on the road for 4 or 5 years there with Chopper and Roger and a lot of other people, a lot of the big-time footballers. At one stage I trained Trevor Gilmosh for the main event at the Entertainment Centre years ago, and that was all good fun. It was a big thing, so all in all, I've never had a job where I get my tax taken out at the end of the week. I've always worked for myself, but I've enjoyed it, and I don't think I want to change anything.
How long do you think you're going to stick with the boxing training for? Where to now for you, Bunga?
I
50 years or so.
Oh, well, as long as Mark's going, I'll keep helping him, And he.
Well, I plan to keep going with it, Dave, as long as I can. As you know, the world has changed these days. In Bunga's day, someone walked in the gym, one out of every fucking 2 kids wanted to have a boxing fight. Now they can have a boxing fight on a PlayStation. You might get 1 in 1,000, I reckon, who want to actually have a fight. And it's just it's a changed culture. What can I say? The generations got softer as it went on. My generation, or your generation, like that, it's not as hard as this generation, and it's getting diluted as it goes down. And we do it for the love of it. I've had a love of it. The first punch I ever threw with a glove on was that Bunga holding one of them old leather bloody shoulder pads. I was about 6. It was in the kitchen at the house at Scarborough, and ever since then I've always been doing something. Whether I was punching a bloody Hessian bag under a tree down at my parents' house down at Waterford, or then I got into martial arts, bloody, you name it.
Well,
karate.
Why do you care though? Like with you, I see you help a lot of people. Why do you do that, and why do you care so much?
I like helping people. I get a great deal of satisfaction out of helping, especially kids that have been bullied at school, and giving them confidence. Because I was terribly bullied at school because of medication I was on, because I had a nasty accident when I was a kid, and I had to be medicated, and I was bullied because of it, But I tell you what, I run into a few of them that bullied me at school, and I've been on the door of a pub, and They didn't want to seem to bully me then. You know, they seemed to want to buy me scotches, good scotch too. So,
how old were you when you stopped bouncing, Mark? Because
as a profession,
yeah,
42. As a professional bouncer, 42. But I did a couple of years still casual for my mate on the weekend to help him out. He was shorter blokes. So all up, look, mate, 25, 26 and a half years bouncing. But I was a full-time bouncer for at least 25 years, with the bodyguard stuff mixed in amongst that. So 10 of it with Chopper, and mixed in with the bouncing, because I wasn't always away with Chopper, even though he did live with me at stages and stuff like that. Bunga cooked him dinner all the time. Bunga's cooked Chopper dinner on 100 occasions. And you know, we had Roger Rogerson on board. We actually did one tour where we had Merv Hughes on board. Merv Hughes was with us, and Roberta Williams. You know, it's been fantastic. I think that I've been very, very lucky to have had that sort of experience, because what it's done has given me great people skills to deal with all different members of public. I can hold a conversation with a cleaner right up to the CEO, and that comes from working on doors and dealing with all types of people. And look, if I turn back the clock, you know what? People often ask me, if you turn back the clock, Mark, would you do it all over again? Oh, yeah, bloody oath I would. I'd do the whole lot again. I got no regrets.
Would you associate with Roger Rogerson again?
Absolutely.
What can you say about Roger?
Mate, Roger Rogerson, I can tell you right now, to me, is an absolute gentleman. There needs to be more coppers like Roger Rogerson. We would have far less trouble in society if coppers were all like Roger Rogerson. Believe me, we would. And he came up in an era where you either fitted in with the detectives and did what they wanted, or you spent your life doing fucking traffic duty. And Roger became a brilliant detective. And mate, so what? He shot a few blokes on duty. They were only shitbags. And I think Rogerson should be bloody given the bloody Queen's pardon and let out of jail and given full compensation for what he's done, because he has done this country a great service. So, and I hope to God that he sees this one day on the internet or on a bloody YouTube thing or something, because Roger, you truly have done this country a great honour. And he deserves to be let out right now, and he should be flown here directly to have a bloody eye fillet steak with me and Bunga and some scotch. And I tell you what, he'd enjoy every bit of it.
And it's complicated too, because you can't just pick up the phone and give him a call to see how your mate's going, can you?
Well, you can't. No, because he's got limited phone calls. He needs to do that with his wife and his lawyer. And you can't just rock up there for a visit, because, I mean, if me and Bunga rocked up there for a visit with to see Roger, mate, we'd be on the front page of the paper in Sydney, and you wouldn't know what they'd say, mate. You cannot, you just can't do it. But we have gone in the bat for him when we've been asked to, for Channel 9, Channel 7, things like that, and we've been interviewed. They've flown us interstate, and we have stuck up for him. I think we were the only ones in the whole thing that was sticking up for him, and I will continue to stick up for Roger, mate, till the day I die, I can tell you, because I think Roger Rogerson is a great bloke, and I'm sure that Bunga agrees with me 100%.
He said that you'd make a great copper too, didn't he?
He did say I'd make a great copper. He said you would have fitted him well, and you know what? I would have fitted him well with him, because, mate, I won't go into it, but I tell you what, if there was some bloke that needed shooting like what he done in the day, mate, I'd do exactly the same thing as he done. I truly would. And he only ever shot scumbags that had shot at coppers, or they had ripped old people off and done things like that. I'd have done exactly the same, and he knew it. And he said it would have been great to have you on the force with me, Mark, and I thought to myself, well, that's quite an honour.
Real Dirty Harry.
Mate, I can tell you now, it's an honour to have hung out with Roger Rogerson and had him tell me some stories, and just, mate, honestly, it is a privilege to know him. It really is. And to know him the way I got to know him was a real honour.
Like I met a couple of coppers from Sydney, the old coppers that knew him recently, and they said to each other, they said, for fuck's sake, mate, they were going to make Roger the deputy, the commissioner of police.
Yes.
Isn't that right? He was about to become...
Roger, when he got kicked out of the police force, he got suspended full-time in 1984, but he was inactive, like actually getting paid by the police till 1986. He had just completed his course to become a senior sergeant, but he was online. He was touted as the next police commissioner. The Commissioner of Police of New South Wales was going to be Roger Rogerson, and it wasn't because he was good at shooting people. He could do shorthand writing, mate. He was just a brilliant detective, very, very clever man, very brave, and he had a lot of respect. I can tell you, he had a hell of a lot of respect.
What do you think about this Whiskey Go-Go thing? It's come and went, but Roger Rogerson's name was back in the press. Do you have any comment, or do you have no comment?
Well, no. All I can say is, it happened in March 1973. I was born in July 1973. I've been told a fair bit about it, but I will not go much further than that. I just think it's a terrible incident, and 15 people died in it, and they were Sydney criminals. They sent Roger up, and Roger got him sent to jail, and yeah, that's about all I'll say at the moment.